All right, Trav. Awesome conversation we
Yep.
just had with Sammy Moores. He spoke about playing for Josh McDaniels. He brought up Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
Very timely to hear those comments from a former Patriot, because the big wonder, the question one for the Patriots was who's going to be the head coach. Question
right.
two is who's going to be the offensive coordinator. Question three, who's going to lead the front office. We have the answers to 1 and 3. Number 2 is still up in the air. Now everyone is saying, we've heard the reports, Josh McDaniels is the favorite to land the Patriots gig. But Mike Reiss of ESPN, and a guy that's been covering the team maybe longer than I've been alive. Now that I think about it, I'll have to ask Mike about that next time I see him. He said this in regards to Josh McDaniels. Quote, he's never coached with Mike Vrabel, and I think that's significant. The relationship between a coach and player is different than a coach and a coach. I think Josh is going to be part of the mix. I think Mike, as in Vrabel, said that publicly, but I haven't sensed that he would be Mike's top choice right now. That might change as the process takes shape. That was Mike Reiss on 98.5, the Sports Hub, sharing that. So he also stated it seems like neither Thomas Brown or Marcus Brady have a great shot at landing the offensive coordinator job as well.
Yeah.
What did I say to that? Marcus Brady and Thomas Brown. Interviewing those candidates for OC satisfies the Rooney Rule for coordinator opening. So I'm gonna address it like it is. Just
That's
as
right.
Pep Hamilton and Byron Leftwich were, how they were treated by the Crafts
That's
in
right.
their interview process, and the Crafts wasting their time.
Right.
Talking to Leftwich and Pep's time, not the Crafts time, because they learned from those guys. So the question is of who can be the offensive coordinator if it's not Josh McDaniels. I think he should still be the front runner. I think he's the guy that I would like to see lead this offense because I don't think he goes anywhere. But now that brings up the conversation. If it's not Josh McDaniels, then who? And that brings a lot of mystery to how this will be for the Patriots moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, we can run through these names if you want. I still am with Josh McDaniels. I understand there's they haven't worked together in that capacity, and I do get that. But at the same time, everyone from the Patriots organization knows both of these guys, and they know each other.
Yep.
Okay, so I don't really put too much in that. I think Josh McDaniels is the guy. And I certainly, on one hand, while I'm telling you, I don't think the lack of working together in this capacity is going to be a deal breaker. I say that on one hand. On the other hand, George, there's no better candidate. I still think it's Josh McDaniels. I mean, and I know we're going to talk these other guys. The only name I'll throw out that I think could work personally is Arthur Smith. And that's because he and Vrabel have worked together in this capacity. There is familiarity. There is, love there. So I could see that possibly working if the Josh McDaniels move doesn't materialize. My only issue with that is Arthur Smith could be a head coach. He could be.
Yeah.
So, look, hey, here, I'll give you a team. And we talk about this all the time. The Jets are desperate. Would you be surprised if Arthur Smith is the next head coach of the Jets? I wouldn't.
No.
It would make sense to me.
Ugh.
So that's a real opportunity that maybe he would explore.
Yeah.
If I were him and it presents itself, I'd take the Patriots offensive coordinator job and then try and get a head coaching job next season, the next hiring cycle. Maybe you can be hot Shaq because you're working with Drake May. You've turned the Patriots around, hypothetically, of course.
Yep.
And then you get a better opportunity than the Jets. But a head coach is a head coach. These guys want these gigs. Arthur Smith could be in play there. It's just my opinion. But that is someone, George, who I would be willing to look at outside of Josh McDaniels. But a lot of the names that I know you have we're going to talk about, I have zero interest in them. Zero.
I bet the people that are watching on YouTube, by the way, if you are watching right now, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment. Who do you want as the offensive coordinator for the Patriots? We'll have some comments we'll bring up later in the show. The people that were watching, if they saw my face, the people listening might have heard my noises I'm making. It's nothing against UT.
Yeah, I know.
I've seen Arthur Smith in Atlanta, and with all that talent on the field, he didn't know how to even use Bijan Robinson
or Kyle
properly.
Pitts.
Or Kyle Pitts. Or he didn't know how to use those guys properly. Drake London included. In Pittsburgh, fixed some things, had a 1,000-yard rusher, good offensive line, managed with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, but also that offense hit a wall.
Yep.
I don't want Arthur Smith. And let me start with this. When you go through the top candidates, it all has to start with Josh McDaniels. You won't find an offensive coordinator candidate with the resume like Josh McDaniels. He's been coaching the NFL for 23 years. He's been running an offense 18 of those 23. 3 of those combined seasons being as a head coach. But it's all about how he leads the offensive side of the ball. To me, there's no better resume out there than Josh McDaniels as an offensive coordinator. He's an expert at developing and coaching young quarterbacks. And look at what he did with the Patriots back in 2021. They were averaging almost 27 points per game. They were 5th in points per play, very efficient. 7th in red zone touchdown percentage. And they were averaging almost 3 offensive touchdowns per game, 2.8. That would rank 9th in the NFL this season. And that's where you look at the body of work. It was Cam Newton in 2020, where he had to throw out the whole playbook and redesign the entire scheme for a washed-up Cam Newton, but could still get the job done. 2021, he has Mac Jones leading one of the top-scoring offenses in the NFL. Mac effing Jones. In 2022, he had Derek Carr playing his last good season in Vegas. You give him Drake May, imagine what he can do. If it's not Josh McDaniels, this is the one I go to, Clint Kubiak. He started as a quarterback coach under Kevin Stefanski in Minnesota. That's West Coast offense, so it's very similar to the scheme Drake May learned in year 1. Of course, his dad is Gary Kubiak, but from Stefanski, it's run heavy, play action, RPOs. From Gary Kubiak, West Coast offense, zone blocking, play action. A lot of what the Patriots tried this past season. But then also beyond that, he was a passing game coordinator and a play caller for the Broncos. He took over play calling once Nathaniel Hackett was fired.
That's right.
2023 passing game coordinator with the 49ers, learning from Kyle Shanahan. And this past season, leading the Saints as their offensive coordinator and play caller, reviving Alvin Kamara's career, making Derek Carr, Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener find ways to win games. Again, you give him Drake May. The final one, and this is a name that comes up now, and it makes sense after the national championship game, but Chip Kelly. 32 years of coaching football. 4 years as an NFL head coach, 13 years of Power 5 coaching. But more important, look at what he ran when it came to what Will Howard and Ohio State did to finally find success. It's a lot of quarterback-driven concepts, designed runs, run pass option schemes, moving the pocket around. And Will Howard at 6'4", 235 pounds, reminds me a lot of Drake May, who's 6'4", 230. Drake May with a plus arm. Drake May more athletic than Will Howard. But what did he do to use his legs when they rediscovered what to do on offense? It was about the quarterback and the playmakers on the outside. I'm not going to ignore the insane NFL talent that Ohio State had for Chip Kelly. But it's the system and what he did to bring the most out of the quarterback, to capitalize his ceiling. And when I was watching that, this is what I want you to think. Looking back on this past weekend in the NFL, but what we'll see in the championship games. Josh Allen in Buffalo, Jaden Daniels in Washington, Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia.
Mobile.
If your quarterback has legs, they design concepts for them. Chip Kelly would bring that to the Patriots' scheme, to their offensive room, and to Drake May's ability to make more plays. What I can't get out of my head is right before half, Joe Brady opened up a conservative run out of the gun. Didn't make sense. 3rd and goal on the 2-yard line. It is a read option with Josh Allen into a QB power. He goes untouched into the end zone. We saw it time and time again with Will Howard making clutch plays with his legs. Chip Kelly understands that type of skill set. And as we see with Jaden Daniels in the Commanders, don't give the pew-pew to an offensive coach. I don't know what sound I just made.
What
pew,
was
pew,
that?
Pew, 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 pepe le pew.
You were like Pepe.
Pepe le pew. Don't be scared because of the Chip Kelly stank we saw when he was with the Eagles and the 49ers.
It's not scared.
That was a long time ago.
George.
But it's the offensive scheme. The one that puts Josh McDaniels above the other two, though, I don't see him going anywhere. Clint Kubiak's good, gone in 3 years. Chip Kelly's good. He gets a head coaching nod in 3 years.
Well, let's slow down on the Chip Kelly thing. I actually think Chip Kelly and Josh McDaniels are in the same boat in this way. You know, I don't think anyone's going to be banging down the door for either one of them to be the head coach. Now, I agree with you with the other names. All these other guys, this is an audition for a head coaching gig. And that's fine. That's the nature of the beast. We understand that. But with a young quarterback who's still cheap and affordable for now in Drake May, I would like a runway. I would like a Josh McDaniels to be here to develop them because we've seen him do it. We've seen him do it with young quarterbacks and veteran quarterbacks. We've seen his offense work here. It's tangible. And we all think he'll be here. You know, not to say he won't get another head coaching opportunity, but it's going to be so far down the road that gives you a chance to build that cohesion, not only with Drake May, George, one name you're leaving out here is Mike Vrabel. Think about this. If you hire a Josh McDaniels, okay, and you know offensively we're going to be solid, he's going to work with Drake May. It's not to say Mike Vrabel, the CEO, won't oversee the offense, won't be involved in the offense. Of course he will.
Yeah.
But he can sleep better at night knowing I have a veteran guy who's going to be here for the long term, working with my young stud quarterback. Mike Vrabel, the CEO, can oversee, make sure things are good on the offensive side. They will be, box checked. Now I can lean in on my side of the ball, which is defense. Mm-hmm. And I know we'll talk defensive coordinator. So I think you could even get a little more value out of Mike Vrabel bringing in a McDaniels. Going back to Chip Kelly, just for the conversation here, you are glossing over the most important fact. Chip Kelly, yes, everything you said, the system, it works. Head coach in the NFL was a long time ago. I agree with all that. But, bro, it's the personality. That's why it didn't work in the NFL. Not to say he hasn't grown.
Yep.
Not to say he hasn't learned. You and I are high on Brian Flores. And we both think Brian Flores will work as a head coach because of what he learned from Miami. Mm-hmm. Brian Flores had a prickly personality, right? Mm-hmm. He was a little too Belichick. He had to kind of chill. He had to ease up. And we think that's what we're going to get this next time around. That's not the case with Chip Kelly. I mean, it was mutinies with this guy. Players hated him. So, can he improve on his personality? Yes, we all can. I'm working on it every day. My wife will tell you. But you are who you are to a certain extent, okay? George, would have big concerns of Chip Kelly, personality-wise, as my coordinator for years, because I think him and McDaniels will be here. I would have issues that over time, Chip could rub players wrong. This is a young, impressionable team. We talk about all these older coaches being able to, I know he's coming from college, but hell, all those guys are damn near pros at Ohio State anyway, George.
Yep.
Would he be able to resonate with my young guys who aren't as talented? Or is he just going to be mean as hell to them? I don't know. These things would concern me. I have no such concern and no such history with Josh McDaniels at all. The only thing you can knock him for is he's not a good head coach. I don't need him to be that here. Just call the plays.
18 years of running an offense.
That's right.
And I get the callback to, the Eagles, it was him trading away LaShawn McCoy.
They hated him, George.
Deshaun Jackson. That did not go well in that locker room.
They hated
veteran
him.
leaders. He wouldn't be the guy to have the tough conversation with veterans. He delegated to assistant coaches. Got to be a leader. That was 9 years ago. Again, that was as a head coach. Let's see him as an offensive coordinator. Some comments. John Stark, 117. John Stark, Aegon Targaryen.
Did he play for the Knicks? Or what about John Starks from the Knicks? Is that him?
No, not that John Stark. It could be, actually.
It could be.
Josh McDaniels is the wisest choice for OC. He can adapt his offense to arguably any type of player and find a way for them to succeed. Agree, John. He won't be getting a head coach job anytime soon, so that'll at least give him a few years to develop Drake May.
That's right.
I correct your few. I put 5, but John Stark, great comment. Steve F, 3693. Yes, he's quoting me from our last episode.
What?
Yes, 15 does a lot for the Chiefs, but the Patriots have 10. Yeah, they're the same. I sense a little sarcasm there.
Some sarcasm.
Hey. And that was me.
Clarify.
That was me talking about Mike Borgonzi, who should be the general manager for the Patriots, but he went to Tennessee. Patriots lost. Good for Borgonzi. I hope it works out. Yes, 15 does a lot to elevate the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes does a lot. You have 10. You have a guy I'm projecting, and him coming out was, as a developmental piece, could be a top 5, top 10 starter in the NFL. Mm-hmm. When you have a special quarterback like that, it elevates the rest of the roster. Mm-hmm. So while you may give Mike Borgonzi and Brett Veach a crutch because they have Mahomes, whoever leads this front office, they would have Drake May. So, Steve, I like you calling me out. I love the sarcasm, brother. Keep it coming. Mike Ramos, 6272. Josh, as in McDaniels, could always go to college if he does really well, ... Just saying. I think he's projecting a little Josh McDaniels to UNC. Look,
no.
If that was going to happen, it would have happened by now. Unless he's thinking the Belichick path of, hey, look, come NIL. I don't think Josh McDaniels can run a program. I don't think he can run.
No, he's not saying that. He's saying he's your – you know how we said, okay, we know Josh McDaniels, a head coach in the NFL, doesn't work, so we'll have a long runway with him as a coordinator here. I think he's saying he kicks ass as a coordinator and leaves to be a head coach in college. I could see that, George.
Yeah,
that's feasible.
If he's alluding to UNC, if that was going to happen, it would have happened by now.